This is to show you the capabilities that have been developed to enhance the Salesforce CPQ code line editor. We have only one slide, after which we'll spend most of the time in the system. This slide talks about the fundamental approach that we have adopted. It's based on three principles. One is that we are not taking any data outside of Salesforce, so everything remains within Salesforce. We are not taking the user outside of Salesforce, so in order to enhance the experience, we have brought Excel-like capabilities within Salesforce as opposed to taking them outside of Salesforce. And we are focused on complementing, not replacing, in the sense that there is no new capability that is being added. Certainly it can be, but the focus is on leveraging existing capability and then adding and layering new capability, so that when we install this package, it requires absolutely no change to the existing CPQ implementation. So as mentioned, we will spend most of our time in the system. So here is an example code that I've already created. In the other clip that you may have seen before this, or you'll see after this, the clip shows you how a user can easily drag and drop an Excel file, not a CSV, an Excel file, and it can quickly upload hundreds of line items along with the code groups and everything like that into the code line editor. Now we are going to focus on specifically the enhancements to the code line editor. So I'm going to click on Launch QLE Plus. That is what we are calling it, code line editor plus. And now the user is presented with a screen which is familiar, this is the usual normal code line editor, and there are some limitations that we are aware of over here. So now we have developed, first of all, what you see is a series of tabs. There is no limit to the number of tabs that you can have, and each tab can represent a different function. We'll go through a few of them. First, let us look at the QLE Plus tab. This shows you exactly what you just saw in the code line editor, except that now you have complete Excel-like capabilities available over here. So we'll go through a few of them. First and foremost, I see all of these columns over here. I can move any column and shift it as needed. I can pin any column. So for example, if I want to say I want to take the product code and I want to pin it to the left, and then if I go and scroll to the right, that column doesn't move. Or if I say I want to take, let us say, the net unit price and pin it to the right, I could do that. I simply click over here and say pin to the right. I could also pin multiple columns to the left and the right. So that is something that is useful. You can resize the columns very easily, as you would expect. You can also filter. So you can filter depending upon the column. You either filter it by text, or in this case, if it's a number, you can filter it by a number. And there is a Boolean logic that also you can implement. So you can put multiple filters. You can also filter by dates. Next is conditional logic. So what you're seeing over here is where I am able to quickly sort, but you also see different colors. There is conditional logic that has been put in place, which says if a certain column has a number which is less than 5,000, then it should be in a certain color. If it's greater than 50,000, it's in a certain color, etc. So that is what these colors are. These all can be put in by the end user. So the conditional formatting also works on dependent columns, meaning you could conditionally format this column based on the value of, let us say, the additional discount column. And you can see the extensions of this where you can use it for example, conditionally point out which line items may require approval or which line items fall below a certain margin. So there are many uses that you can imagine that you normally see in a family. I can group any of these line items by any of these columns. So for example, I would like to group by product family. So I just drag and drop that field, and now it gives me all of the products by product family. And of course, it also gives me the subtotals by any of these groups. But let us say I would like to group by multiple fields. There's no limit to the number of fields you can use. So for example, let us say if I would like to group by subscription type, whether it is renewable or recurring, so there it is, subscription type. So first I group by that, so it shows me one time versus renewable. But within that, I would like to see by product family, so I could do that, and now it gives me the hierarchy. And there is really no limit to the number of levels deep that you can go. And to ungroup, you simply get rid of the column that you're grouping by, and you're back to this screen. You can also see a tree view. So this is a list view. If you see it as a tree view, you see all of your product bundles as you would expect to see it. So here are the product bundles. I got a couple of them. I just added the same one twice. So it supports bundles. Again, there's no limit to the number of levels deep that you can go into displaying that. As you would expect in Excel, I can highlight any of these columns and it shows me the average, the count, the min max. I could, of course, go across different columns. I could add these and maybe select these just like you would do in Excel, and it will continuously show you. So it's easier when you are trying to troubleshoot how you arrived at a certain number. You can remove columns very easily from this view. So you simply go here, and if you do not need certain columns, you want to just say, I want this column. So it shows it to you. If you don't want it, and if the product code is okay, that's fine. And let's say you do not wish some of these columns to show up. As you can see on the right, in real time, it is getting rid of those columns. This makes it unnecessary for you to have different field sets for different users. This can be saved. We can also export it to Excel in a predefined template. Again, the key point is being able to export it in Excel. Of course, we support CSV, but Excel is where I think most people would like to see well formatted data, and we can apply a template to that. So in this case, you see the top row with some colors on it, etc. And this can be shared with your customer. There is really no limit to the amount of information that you can export directly in Excel. Pagination is supported. You can set the number of lines you would like to see. So I believe we have set it as 50. So if you have more than 50, you'll see it in different pages as you can scroll. So you can either choose to scroll down your entire list, or if you don't like that, you could go from one page to another. The editing is still happening in the code line editor, which we know. So any edits that you do over here would instantly appear over here as well. We are thinking of adding some mass edit capabilities which are not available, again keeping with the theme of providing incremental capabilities as opposed to replicating getting the capability. So if you like to add a product, you could still go over here, add products, configure all of that native CPQ capability which works well. We are not replicating. We are providing the ability to do a lot more on top of it, and this way it can sit on any implementation without any change to your code. Let's look at a few other capabilities. Let's look at the code field. So for a second, if I go back to edit lines, many users would like to see some information from the code exposed over here, but as you can see, it takes up a lot of space. In this case, we can maintain the separation between the code lines, and all of the code fields are here. And here we can have a lot more real estates, and we can actually make it easier to read some nodes, such as in this case, it can accommodate as many characters and does not take up half of your code line editor screen. Preview approval shows you the approvals that are needed right here within the context of the code line editor. The preview approval capability works with the standard approvals as well. So today's standard approvals do not provide you preview approval capability, but we have added that on. So depending upon what code line items you're adding, on the fly, it is figuring it out, running through the approval process, and then surfacing the levels of approvals that you need right here within the code line editor itself. So again, the approach is to provide the user the ability to have the information they need to make it easier for them to make their decisions and to put a code so they don't have to go back and forth between different screens. Product information, we see a lot of times people are spending time copying product information over into the code lines in order to be able to surface it. But here, all of these tabs, we have the ability to surface just about any object information right here that is related to this account and to this code. So you can have all of the product information here. Here, this is showing you all of the existing assets. Here it is showing you all of the existing subscriptions. And of course, with respect to all of the filtering capability and the ability to expose more columns, all of that still applies. So for example, you could sort this by all of the subscriptions that are expiring in the next 1 year. So that way you know maybe what you could potentially upsell. So there is no limit to the number of objects that can be shown. Let me skip over one tab. Here is another tab. If you have any custom object, right now it's not populated, but if there's any custom object which you would like to see information on, that also, as long as the information is there, that can be surfaced over here. So this works with custom objects as well as standard CPQ objects. Let's look at the code flow now. The code flow shows you a complete life cycle of everything that has happened with this code. So starting with the opportunity, if you were to click on the opportunity, it shows you some information which is determined by a field set and can be easily set up. And you can always add more fields to what you would like to see over here. So it allows the user to quickly see information without having to have multiple layouts. So this is showing you that with this opportunity, there was a contract. Against this contract was an amendment. And if you would like to see additional levels, you simply go here and this can be saved, but this is not saved in this case so that I could show you. If you'd like to see all of the codes that have been done against this amendment, you pick this object and then it shows you that at this contract it has a couple of renewal opportunities. This renewal opportunity has this renewal code associated with it. If I click on it, I can see some basic information on it. I can always add more information on it, and all of this can be saved onto the field set as well. So in short, it shows you the complete life cycle of everything that has happened, and you can traverse this hierarchical tree up and down any which way you wish. And at any point in time, if you like to actually see a particular transaction, you just simply click on the box and it takes you directly. So it makes it a lot easier for you to navigate and troubleshoot if you're trying to find the history of a particular quote or an opportunity or a contract. So that is the demo. In short, there are many, many more capabilities that we can talk about more, and would love to show it to you as a real demo. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.